I know it's warm, I know it's Friday, but as we always say, the Holy Prophet and his household deserve only the best of our effort. أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Inshallah, we'll begin with Dua al-Ahad. Just a quick show of hands if any of you are familiar with this dua. Yeah? Okay. So, this dua, just to give you some understanding of it, I think it usually comes up here. Yeah. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam is narrated, his reports say that one who recites this dua for 40 mornings will be accounted amongst the helpers of our awaited Saviour. It's a dua that's recommended after your Salat al-Fajr. It's a covenant between you and the Imam. And when you see the translation of it, it's actually phenomenal. And I really, really would like you to pay attention to the translation of it, because you'll see just what covenants, what pledges of allegiance you are making to the Imam in this time. And it's quite heartwarming that you can actually have this dialogue with your Imam, and we just hope that on the day when Allah takes us back to Him, that we've pledged our allegiance once more. And there's a line that I want you to keep an eye out for, that when I first was exposed to this dua, I was like, wow, that's quite cool imagery. It says along the lines of, Ya Allah, if it is the case that the Imam comes out of ghaibah after I have passed away, then raise me from my grave in my coffin. And you're like, whoa, that's the imagery, super, super powerful. So keep an eye out for that line. And just one small note, according to Sayyid Munir al-Khabbaz, this line here, the first line, Allahumma Rabb al-Nur al-Azim. Oh Allah, the Lord of the great light, Nur, light, al-Azim, great. Does anyone know what that could be referring to? Oh Allah, the Lord of the great light. Anyone know what that could be referring to? According to Sayyid Munir, yes? Close. If Prophet Muhammad is the first, exactly, ahsant. And this line starts, O Allah, the Lord of the great light. And according to Mufassirin, that great light is Al-Qa'im min Ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم رب النور العظيم ورب الكرسي الرفيع ورب البحر المسجور ومنزل التوراة والإنجيل والزبور ورب الذل والحرور ومنزل القرآن العظيم ورب الملائكة المقربين والأنبياء والمرسلين. اللهم إني أسألك باسمك الكريم وبنور وجهك المنير وملكك القديم يا حي يا قيوم، أسألك باسمك الذي أشرقت به السماوات والأرضون وباسمك الذي يصلح به الأولون والآخرون يا حيان قبل كل حي ويا حيان بعد كل حي ويا حيان حين لا حي يا محيي الموتى ومميت الأحياء يا حي لا إله إلا أنت اللهم بلغ مولانا الإمام الهادي المهدي القائم بأمرك صلوات الله عليه وعلى آبائه الطاهرين عن جميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات في مشارق الأرض ومغاربها سهلها وجبلها وبرها وبحرها وعني وعن والدي من الصلوات زنة عرش الله ومداد كلماته وما حصاه علمه وأحاط به كتابه. اللهم إني أجدد له في صبيحة يومي هذا وما عشت من أيامي عهدا وعقدا وبيعة له في عنقي لا أحول عنها ولا أزول أبدا. اللهم اجعلني من أنصاري وأعوانه والذابين عنه والمسارعين إليه في قضاء حوائجه والممتثلين لأوامره والمحامين عنه والسابقين إلى إرادته والمستشهدين بين يديه. اللهم إن حال بيني وبين الموت الذي جعلته على عبادك حتما مقضيا فأخرجني من قبري مؤتزرا كفني شاهرا سيفي مجردا قناتي ملبيا دعوة الداعي في الحاضر والبادي. اللهم أرني الطلعة الرشيدة والغرة الحميدة واكحل ناظر بنظرة مني إلي وعجل فرجا وسهل مخرجا وأوسع منهجا واسلك بي محجته وأنفذ أمره وشدود أزره واعمر اللهم به بلادك وحي به عبادك فإنك قلت وقولك الحق ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس فأظهر اللهم لنا وليك وابن بنت نبيك المسمى باسم رسولك صلى الله عليه وآله حتى لا يظفر بشيء من الباطل إلا مزقه ويحق الحق ويحققه واجعله اللهم مفزعا لمظلوم عبادك وناصرا لما لا يجد له ناصرا غيرك ومجددا لما عطل من أحكام كتابك ومشيدا لما ورد من أعلام دينك وسنن نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله واجعله اللهم ممن حسنته من بأس المعتدين اللهم وسر نبيك محمدا صلى الله عليه وآله برؤيته ومن تبعه على دعوته وارحم استكانتنا بعده اللهم اكشف هذه الغمة عن هذه الأمة بحضوره وعجل لنا ظهوره إنهم يرونه بعيدا ونراه قريبا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. And at this point it is recommended to place your right hand on your right thigh and then strike your thigh 3 times, and we say this line 3 times. And just note this line here, إِنَّهُمْ يَرَوْنَهُ بَعِيدًا وَنَرَاهُ قَرِيبًا. This is a line of Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, surely they think of it to be far off. And we believe that this is referring to the reappearance of our awaited Savior. وَنَرَاهُ قَرِيبًا. And we see it now, we see it nigh. So keep that in mind when we say the following line. بِرَحْمَتِكَ يا أرحم الراحمين العجل العجل يا مولاي يا صاحب الزمان العجل العجل يا مولاي يا صاحب الزمان العجل العجل يا مولاي يا صاحب الزمان. وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. من قرأ سورة الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم ولعن أعداءهم. So I hope inshallah that is a dua that resonates. Something that you can try and commit after Salat al-Fajr, which I know is the toughest of the toughest time to try and extend your a'mal. Just to try, even if it's just once, at least once in your life you want to try and accomplish it. And if you can, twice, 3, 40, and if you can do it 40 times consecutively, it's a way to pledge that allegiance that, you know what, even my sleep, it's not worth it. Like, the Imam and his reappearance comes first. And I'll share this small anecdote with you, and I found this really quite interesting, and I never really connected this. I was sat amongst a few ulama once, and we were speaking about how almost like frustrating it is that at points you'll be discussing a topic and you're trying to analyze it further, and at some point you're just like, but we don't know the next step from here. You've reached such level of depth in a certain topic, or there's such uncertainty about a specific thing, that you just feel a bit of frustration. I remember seeing it with some of the ulama that was sat with us, and I was like, so now what? And you could see them get emotional. And then when one of them said it to me, he himself started crying as he said it. And I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, it's just a bit of understanding that we don't know. It's not that deep, right? And the guy, as he said it to me, he goes, this is why we pray for the Imam. Because that loneliness that we feel, be it in our faith, be it in our understanding, be it in whatever, that's what he's going to come and sort out for us. That's what we're waiting for. So when you feel you're trying to strive towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you feel that the rest of your friends or the rest of your family or the rest of your community or the rest of the entire world is laughing at you for taking this extra step towards Allah, and you feel that ghurba, you feel that loneliness, you feel that concept of being a stranger, there's a reason why he feels a ghurba. He feels a loneliness. Yes, physically there may be a gap, but spiritually this man is waiting for us. He's looking, he's like, he feels lonely in that he's going so far towards Allah, and he's hearing this community say, oh, please return you, please return you. And he's like, you guys aren't even anywhere near ready. Imagine his level of ghurba that he feels if we feel it ourselves. So in that line that you may recite in Shahr Ramadan just a couple of months ago, Allahumma rudda kulla ghareeb, oh Allah, return every stranger to his homeland. Some of the mufassirin say this is not just someone who, for example, is in East Africa and his home is in London and he feels lonely. That is one type of loneliness. You are physically a stranger in a different land. But if, let's say you have an economist or someone studying economics at uni, if they were to go into a lecture theatre of their very university in their very same city, but that lecture theatre was discussing medicine, they'd feel a little bit like a stranger because they don't understand medicine. They did economics, so they're a stranger. Similarly, you could have someone be so spiritual and be sat amongst Shi'as, but still feel like a stranger because maybe they're Shi'a by name, but they're not following at all. The Imam, perhaps, when he then walks across our streets and he's like, oh, this is the house of one of my Shi'a, but I actually feel lonely if I were to enter that house because maybe at Salah time when he gets up, this household won't get up. And he doesn't feel settled. So maybe we are making the Imam feel like a stranger. Maybe it's us. So just a small point to reflect on, that when we recite this dua and we say that this is a covenant from now until the rest of my life and beyond, that we really need to mean it deep down. And maybe it'll just be on our last moments in our life when we really, really mean it wholeheartedly. Aflaha man salla ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salla ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Our dear uncle is teaching us lung capacity with his salawat. I think we have a little bit more in us. In honor of our awaited Savior, Aflaha man salla ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salla ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajil faraj. That's good, thank you. Okay. How many of you guys saw the title for today? No? No one? One? Honestly, put your hand. I'm going to need your interaction today. So none of you. No, forgotten it. Okay. Have you heard of the phrase, doing it for the gram? No? This is like falling on deaf ears. Either I've become too old, or you guys are too young, or I'm in the wrong circle. I don't know what's happened. Doing it for the gram is in doing it for Instagram. You go out for... So I was having a meeting this morning over breakfast, and the plate comes, and you're like, oh, take a picture, upload it. Why? You got to do it for the gram, bro. You got to post it. It's not like you've actually had that breakfast unless you've posted it, right? Obviously. Thank you. In every situation now, we see people that their whole life story is on their story. I guess that's the name of it, right? It's on your story. Back in my day, it was Facebook, and apparently if I talk about Facebook, it really shows my age, which makes me feel slightly uneasy, but anyway. Then along came Snapchat. Instagram and Snapchat almost kind of the same time. Maybe Instagram first didn't take off. Snapchat really took off. And then Instagram just took over and somehow has gone crazy, and now the jahiliyyah of TikTok is rife. So we won't even talk about TikTok. That's for another session, probably a private one, because that's dodgy. Let me just say, TikTok is dodgy. I'm just going to put it out there, okay? Instagram. Do it for the gram. Just post it, post it, post it. So I'm going to ask a bit more of an Insta question. Hands up, how many of you have Instagram? Yeah? I don't believe those four sisters. I'm going to need your hands up. I'll be honest with you. It's going to be very interactive. So none of you four have Instagram. I'm going to need your hands up. Okay, you've all got Instagram? Okay, we have one pure soul without Instagram. May Allah preserve you. Because honestly, I think the faster we get off it, maybe the better, to be honest, in my opinion. But anyway, Instagram. Do it for the gram. How many of you have seen a post from a friend? We don't need to talk about ourselves yet because that gets too uncomfortable. How many of you guys have seen from a friend where they've posted something and you're just like, did you really need to post that? Right? Hands up nice and high. Keep them high, keep them high. Keep your hands up if you've also posted one where you're like, I really didn't need to post that. No, you guys are lying. We've all done it once. We've all done it. We've all posted something once upon a time where really deep down there was really no need for it. Unless you're perfectly pure, then I'm just speaking to myself and, well, that's a good education for me. Quick set of stats. 2021. How many users on Instagram? So how many people are in the world today? Population roughly? 8 billion, 7 billion, something like this? Say again? 7 billion roughly. You're like an encyclopedia, man. Incredible. 7 billion. Okay, 7 billion people. How many Shias in the world? Yes, Muslim population around 1.8, some call it 2 billion. Okay, that's a pretty big number when you think about it, by the way. That's like a fifth, a fourth-ish of the population, between a third and a fourth. Okay, 7-8 billion people in the world. How many have Instagram? How many users are there on Instagram? Start with the sisters. The worst case is that you get the number wrong. It's not that big a deal. I told you it's going to be very interactive, and I'm very good at the waiting game, so it's fine. How many users on Instagram? A billion. Okay. How many users? A billion. Remember, we've got all of those guys that don't have internet access still in some places, whatever. So a billion. Any other guesses? 2-3 billion. Wow, that would be pretty powerful. Okay. You know when you want someone to like estimate low and then they like kill your thing by going too high? Exactly that. So 1.2 billion users. Even still, that's pretty healthy. 1.2 billion users. How many posts per year? How many? A few billion? How many is a few? Remember, a billion is 1,000 million, so you're not talking a small amount, yeah? 1,000 billion, we always underestimate how big that is. So you're saying few. 4 billion. Okay, 4 billion. Any other guesses? 6 billion? Okay. 34 billion posts. 34 billion posts. It's quite scary when you're like, okay, so clearly Instagram is something, okay? It's a tool. It's very popular. It's clearly massively widely used, and I'm sure if we were to look at the geography breakdown, which we won't do, it's probably going to be quite interesting to see where the most of these posts are coming from. But it's significant. So we've got to pay some kind of attention to it, right? What would you say if you were to try and summarize? What's the point of Instagram? Like I said, it's going to be very interactive today, so I'm going to be drawing from you because we're going to create a bit of a debate. I'm going to play a bit of devil's advocate. I'm going to take you one direction, twist you another, and then leave you in a complete, you decide for yourself. So just prepare for that and don't get angry at me. So, what's the purpose of Instagram? Sorry? Share your life. Okay, so when the creators of Instagram started, do you feel their mission was share your life? Could be, right? Could be very legitimate. Connecting people. Okay. Any other ideas? That was kind of like Facebook's vibe, like connecting university students initially. But you're right, like when it comes to Instagram, it's all about pictures. Maybe there's sharing more of your life going on. Any other ideas? Validation. Interesting. It's a heavy word. Very heavy word. Okay, go on. You're going to have to shout. Share your story. Okay, but like what's the point behind it? When you downloaded it, you said almost all of you downloaded it. Why did you download it? And don't give me the cop-out excuse that your friends told you to do it. You can say it, but then just admit you have FOMO. Like we just have to agree that we're okay to say. Why did you download it? Marketing, okay. Fair enough. Okay. To keep up to date with reciters. Cool. Nice. Any of the sisters, why did you download Instagram? Sorry. Talk to people, connect. Okay. And the sister that hasn't got Instagram, how comes you didn't download Instagram? Yeah. How come? Okay. We'll come back to you, by the way, so I'm definitely going to come, because it's nice to have the balance in the room, and it's very rare, if you don't mind, that is. It's just nice to hear the different opinions from different sides. So, it would be probably fair to say, as you said, it's something about connectivity, it's something about sharing. You can go and research Instagram's reasons for existence in your own time. We won't go into it today. What would you say the point of a newspaper is? I'm going in a completely different direction. What's the point of a newspaper? Tell information about the world. Relatively noble cause? Fair cause? Yeah? Could the newspaper be misused? Yes, we saw it. Donald Trump elections, the big scandal. Boris Johnson over and over again. Somehow the Daily Mail still justify his actions, and again, we still don't understand why. But anyway, so you can have, and we're putting Instagram to one side, you can have a good tool, like a newspaper, but it can be misused. So I'm going to throw an argument out there and say even the best intentioned tools can be misused. And I'm going to evidence that by something a little bit controversial called the Quran. Do we all agree that the Quran was revealed with the best of intentions, right? To guide mankind. Furqan al-Hamid. To be a clear guide, a clear-cut guide for mankind. And Allah speaks about in many ayats of the Quran why He revealed this Quran. It's to make sure that you have a guide. It's to reconcile differences amongst the community, so on and so forth. But I'm saying that even the best tool in the Quran can, and I'll say has been, misused. Fair? Okay. Does anyone disagree with that sentiment? And if you do, Daesh. That's my evidence. Hopefully that's clear-cut enough. Okay? So, Daesh comes along. They see the Quran, they take a certain verse, they do what they want to do, they behead us, they behead others, they do what they want to do, right? So even the best intention tool, like the Quran, can be misused. Therefore, I would say, as someone hopefully trying to use my intellect correctly and just putting logical patterns together, any tool that we have in life, be it divine or be it man-made, can start out positively, and I'm not saying Instagram did, but let's go with this flavor, can start out positively, but in equal measure can be misused. Therefore, just as in the Quran we're told this is the purpose of it, use it wisely, we need to be aware that if something is being used 35 billion times a year, and that's posts, that's not how many hours are spent on it. In fact, let's do a quick search. How many hours spent on Instagram per year? Any guesses? I haven't actually searched this one. This will probably scare us. How many hours are spent on Instagram per day? Oh man, they haven't actually done a study on this. Well, that's homework anyway. I think it'll be quite interesting. 7.7 hours per day. So let's say 7 hours, and we said there was 1 billion users. So that's 7 billion hours, potentially, per day. Decent amount of time. So, we definitely don't spend that much time in the Quran, I'll tell you that much, and I'm the first one, I'm the first culprit. So, we have a tool that we're saying potentially had a great intention by the founders of it, but as with any tool, we need to make sure we know how to use it, because if we use it the wrong way, we could end up in this equality of Daesh on Instagram, right? Just to put it out there. Yes? Sorry, I really can't hear you. I'm really sorry. The fans are very loud. I think the protection of the Quran, if I'm not mistaken, is the preservation of the text. You'll always have a madman that will interpret it the wrong way, right? You can have someone sat next to Imam Ali alayhi salam, phenomenal, the second best human being to ever grace this earth, yet people will still see him in a certain way because they're not using their intellect. that make sense? So, but it's a good point. So my point is very clear, okay? Instagram, even if it was well-intentioned, we need to be aware on how to use it correctly, because there is going to be a correct way to use it and an incorrect way to use it. So there's going to be a hands up game. I'm going to say a context, and I want you to put your hands up if you think, yes, that's legit, no issues. And then I'll ask for the second group to put their hands up if you think, no, that could be problematic. Make sense? So I'll say a concept, and then I'll say those who feel they're fine with it, put your hands up. Then those who feel they're not fine with it, put your hands up. Clear? Cool, we're all smart, we can do this. So, first scenario, you post a picture of you and your friends during a birthday party. Let's assume all things are sharia, fine, etc., 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 so none of that kind of stuff. So, you post a picture of your friends on your birthday or on someone's birthday out at a restaurant, let's say. Hands up if you think legit, no issues. Cool. Anyone opposing? No. Cool. You post a picture of you and your family on holiday in Turkey. Hands up if you think legit, no issues. Yeah? Not sure. How come? No, I think the sister behind you, yeah? You were okay with it? Okay. Were you okay with it, sister? You weren't okay with it. Okay, interesting. Let the debate begin. Go on. How come? Well, it's just a picture of a family. What's the big deal? So it's something about the privacy level. Interesting. Interesting angle. And a lot of people have that, and that's very fair. So there could be a privacy angle. Got it. Let's say you post a picture of yourself in Karbala, visiting Imam Hussaini alayhi salam. Hands up if you're completely cool with that. Yeah? You've got the whole pose going on, you have to put your hand across your heart and, look half sad, half serious, just like that kind of look. We've all done it. It's fine. It's all been our wallpaper at some point in our life. And if we've not been, we'll do it one day. It's okay. Anyone that's against it? So you don't post religious aspects of your life on the same. So you'll do it on a different one. Okay, interesting. We'll come back to that. You had your hand up. How come? Why is it problematic? Mm-hmm. Interesting. So you want to keep that privacy between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That I've gone to Muhammad alayhi salam and I'm going to keep it private. Interesting. Let's take it a step further. And I've seen this. I've seen it. And maybe you've done it. Maybe I've done it. I don't know. Too late. My stories are now finished. You'll be able to find them, I hope, anywhere. But trust me, I've made all the mistakes in the book on this kind of stuff. So I'm sharing my experience in this as well. You get on the prayer mat. You've got the Torah at the top of your masalla. Some of you have seen it, I'm sure. The picture of the guy who's or woman, I don't know, who's on their prayer mat. And it's #grateful. #humble. #Allahu Akbar. Legit or not legit? Hands up for legit. Well, now you guys aren't happy. But I'm just promoting, I'm just promoting the faith. #prayer, I want people to see when they search #prayer what a Muslim prays like. What's the big deal? You wouldn't be comfortable. You don't mind others. Okay, this is I don't judge. Okay, fine. Himani, you weren't happy? You felt a line was drawn here. Karbala's okay, but Salah is not okay. What happened? Okay. Okay, can I play devil's advocate? Yeah, and I'm going to play devil's advocate with all of you. I'm just asking for your permission. So HIMYS just answered on behalf of everyone. So you're saying there's a more personal connection when you're doing salah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than when you're in Karbala, right? And I'm going to say, actually, I'm one of those who hashtag left my heart in Karbala. We've all heard that one, right? And if you don't post it after you've come back, questionable whether your ziyarah is accepted. But anyway, according to Instagram, right? So Uncle's thinking we're mental, by the way. So I'm so sorry. We'll go through it. I promise you. We'll get you on Instagram. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. You left your heart in Karbala. It's okay. So I'm saying no. Actually, for me, day-to-day salah doesn't mean anything. But when I go to Karbala, big deal. So for me, Karbala is way more personal than my salah. Not correct, but devil's advocate. So now what? Can't be silent, man. You've got to have an opinion. So, you were saying Salah was the red line. Karbala, okay. Salah, not okay. Why? You said because with Salah, it's a personal thing between you and Allah. Right? It's much more intimate. And I'm saying no. To me, to be honest, let's say I barely pray. But when I go to Karbala, I feel it. It's way more personal. It's way more personal. So according to your logic, I should be okay. I should not be okay posting Karbala. But you said it was okay a second ago. It's fine, don't worry. We'll come back. So,
I think everyone has their own personal boundary. Everyone is, like, as you said, for you, that might be personal. You might want to share it, you might not want to share it.
okay.
For me, I might not want to share it. That's where I draw my personal boundary. Like, I know if you really want to share family pictures, I'm okay sharing them.
Okay.
Someone might not want to share their friend pictures or anything.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so we're seeing there's a lot of this like personal opinion. What do you think is right? What do you think is wrong? Kind of vibe coming. We're going to continue a little bit and reach, again, a bit of a debate, if you like. So, hand on heart, and I don't want any of these holier than thou responses. And if you are, respect, because I know I have a certain intention. When you have posted on Instagram in the past, how many of you posted on Instagram today? Just to see if the billion thing is real. No one. It's okay, you can say yes. There's no judgment. Yeah, there we go. Amazing. What did you post? What was the story? Boat party. Okay. All right, there we go. So, nice view, summer, Thames. Great. Okay, cool. When you post, genuinely, hand on heart, why are you posting? Hand on heart, why are you posting? My brother on the seats with the beautiful voice, right? Qasida reciter. Why do you, have you posted on Instagram before? Yeah? Why did you post? Hand on heart. Let people know what you're up to. Fair enough. Why did you post? No. You. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Shiaism. So you're posting for tabligh reasons. Hand on heart. 100%. Okay. Respect. Himani, why'd you post? Hand on heart. Show the outfit. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Why do you need to show the outfit? I'll tell you look good in your shirt. Okay. I get to pick on Himani because, we've got that relationship. I'll be honest, I'm going to come out and say it. I used to post because of the likes, the attention, the comments. Back in the day, for me, it was Twitter. Twitter was where it was at pre-Instagram. That's like where it was buzzing. I'll say it, 40,000 tweets. I was out there. My life plus more was out on Twitter, literally. And each time you post, you hope someone's going to reply. You tweet something like, you thought about it, really structured it well. The equivalent today with Instagram is like add a few more filters, no, turn it 12 degrees rather than 11 degrees. Just bring it back a little bit. You play around with the GIF, you play around with the caption. Oh, then you get to stories and you've got to get the right backing track and you've got to time it at the right time. I need that part of the dua, not this part of the dua, a little bit earlier. And you take ages. And then you post. And you put your phone down, okay, I've posted. Phone vibrates. Oh no, it's just my mum WhatsApping. Okay, forget it. There is a level, I'm going to say it anyway, but there's a bit of seeking some gratification from others. Fair? I don't think I'm saying anything controversial here, but maybe I've gone a bit slow to get there. Even if I'm doing it whilst I'm in Karbala, I could say, yeah, I'm trying to do tabligh, I'm trying to get it out there, etc. And maybe you're completely removed from any self-gratification and you are absolutely pure in your head that even if 0 people like this, I don't care. And hopefully we can get there one day. But at least for me, and at least the way that Instagram has been designed, the first thing that you as someone scrolling through your feed are encouraged to do if you see something you like is to like it. And I'm sure, and I'm not going to ask you to put your hands up, where maybe you've received a message from a friend or you've messaged a friend yourself to say, can you just like this post for me? Use the size page is allowed. You can ask each other to like each other, and share it. I don't know if it's still the same today on Instagram, but ages ago when Facebook started to really fly, so we're talking like 2010, 2011, that kind of time, the algorithm was very simple to play. Very simple to play. Now they've made it so complex and there's so many different variations to it. But back then it was simple. You post, and the faster someone interacts with it, especially if they comment, and especially if you reply to the comment, it will just jump to the top of everyone's newsfeed again. So what people do? As soon as you post, you tell a friend, please like it. Bang, 1, 2, 3, everyone's coming to the top of the newsfeed. Okay, you're getting there, you've got good traction. It stays there. It's literally like bouncing. Every single time there's no interaction, Facebook starts to deprioritize it. What people would do, guilty once upon a time in my life, it's okay to say it, we can talk about it, is that you have a post that perhaps did phenomenally well. Me, let's say, in Karbala. Me in Turkey. Me at a birthday. Me with my brother. Me with my mum. Whatever it is. And it's a year later, and I'm like, that post did really well. I'm just going to add another comment to it, just to stick it back at the top of everyone's feed. We used to do it all the time. All the time. Perfect moments were when you get accepted into uni, that was a big one. When you graduate from uni, that's a big one. When you get engaged, that was like the peak. That was the peak. Like, if you didn't post when you got engaged, did you even get engaged? Like, it's fake news. We used to have a phrase, it's official when it's on Facebook. That's when, it's not when it's announced at the mosque. It's not when you get the forward. It's when it's on Facebook and you've tagged your missus or you've tagged your husband. That's when it's official. I was like, no way. And then you get double traction because you get both sides of the friend group. And then, of course, you make it public. You don't want to make it private because you want friends of friends to comment, obviously. I don't know if it's still a thing, but I'll say it definitely was a thing. And I'll say, I think it is still a thing. Because I see it. So, hopefully we can kind of admit to ourselves, and we won't need to put our hands up to that maybe once upon a time in my life, I posted for the likes, for the attention. It's okay to admit it, and I think it's important we admit it. Even if it's on your holiest things, and we'll come to this in a second, even if it's a narration from the Holy Prophet, even if, it's okay to admit that you've done it for the reason of getting attention, of getting likes, of getting interaction. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying it's okay to admit it, and it's important to admit it. Cliche question. Who should we really want likes from? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Simple. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, full stop. So at what point, and let's say we've put all of the other stuff behind that, It's not that I want attention about me. Let's say we're now at the point where, like, you know, I'm only going to post tabligh things, as you mentioned. At what point does our intention get contradicted by what we're posting? That I can post me on holiday and it'll be like, okay, that one, you know, maybe that's about you, fine. I'll post me with my mum, it's about my mum, it's still about you, okay. I'll post me at my graduation, but without me in the picture, okay, it's still about you and your graduation, okay, fine. I'll post a picture of the shrine without me in it. Hands up, do you think, and we'll do yes and no, so hands up if you think that if you post a picture of just the shrine, there's no chance that it can go wrong. Just the shrine. Is it legit? 100% legit, no issues. Hands up if yes. Just the shrine. Yeah? Seems fair, right? You're not even in it. Hands up if no. Okay, how come? Keep going, you got a very interesting way. You got the connection to it. Keep going. And it's kind of like your association with it, right? That I was the one that posted it. There's something incredibly subtle and scary about this whole thing. And I'll use the following example. Let's say my mother says, or my mother doesn't even say, I just go to visit my mother. And I'm like, you know what? I really know that she likes vanilla cheesecake. So I'm going to stop off at Waitrose, I'm going to stop off at Tesco, wherever. And I'm going to get vanilla cheesecake for her. I'm doing that with the intention of building that bond with her, right? Getting closer to her, building that proximity to my mother. Such a noble cause. I'm sure that if I did that and then messaged all of you, because my profile's public, remember? Think about how weird this becomes. I ask Himani and Sister Insia, can you just forward this picture of me giving this cake to my mother? Just to everyone that attended on Friday. They'd be like, bro, what are you doing? That should just be between you and your mum. No, just share it. It's fine. Just share it. Dude, were you doing it for us to say you're a good guy, or were you doing it to get closer to your mum? Yeah, obviously it's for my mum, but just share it. There's a massive contradiction here. It can seem so innocent, but behind it, when you just look at it rationally, you're like, this Sadiq guy's a weirdo, man. Just go give the cake to your mum, cut it for her. She probably won't let you feed her, but just keep it between you and her, and she'll love you for it. And imagine from your mother's perspective, well, let's reverse it in a little way. Let's say a friend recognizes that it's your birthday or whatever, you're down, or maybe they just want to come and treat you, so they bring some food to your house. You're like, wow, that's so noble. So loving, right? They've just turned up on your doorstep and they've given you food. Happy days. Remember Asad once, he's in the kitchen somewhere. We had COVID. Next thing you know, he was like, there he is. And I baited him out. How was your chai? Did you enjoy it? Just testing it. Add sugar. So, I wasn't a way to get you in, I promise. So, Asad once upon a time, my wife and I both had COVID. And the guy turns up at my door with meat from the butcher. I'm like, what a guy. Genuinely, I was like, this is so sincere, this is so loving, right? I don't have many people that live around me that know me, so like for someone to come and look after me, that's amazing. But then if I find out, and maybe he didn't tell me, it's all over his Insta story. Alhamdulillah, looking after my neighbors, looking after the community, #brotherhood. Well, like, bro, did you need to tell the whole world about what you did for me? I now feel a little bit like, was it really for me, or was it to get some plaudits from others? In the same way that even if we post the most noble of things, a picture of the Kaaba, a picture of Masjid al-Nabawi for those who are going to Hajj this year, inshallah, and may Allah allow us all to go to Hajj, then I'm like, look everyone, this is the Kaaba. But deep down I'm doing it for the attention, and Allah's like, seriously? Are you doing it for them? Or are you doing it to get closer to me? What's your real intention behind this? So even when we post the most, what could be explicitly sincere, godly artifacts in the world, even if you put a verse of Quran underneath it, or a hadith, and you're not in the picture, you're nowhere to be seen, Only we know deep down, am I doing it for me and for the interaction I'm going to get and the plaudits I'm going to get, or am I just doing it between me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So I can truly, just between me and him, seek nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And only each of us, for every single post, can we answer that question. And you could literally mark your Instagram. Tick, cross, or big cross. No, that one was definitely for the gram, that was definitely for Allah. And maybe the things that were definitely for Allah didn't make it onto Instagram. Maybe the things that were genuinely, truly for Allah didn't make it onto Instagram. Now, please don't confuse what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can't do beautiful tabligh, massively focused qurbatan in Allah. I'm not, and not post it on Instagram. I'm not saying that it's impossible. No, I'm just saying we have to mark ourselves. And that social media has created an environment where we want to make it public. We want to get the attention. And somehow to do something in secret is so much more tougher. So much more tougher. And we have to answer that ourselves. There was a story that's been told to me, and I should add, as you can see, this session today is not from a book. Otherwise, I usually tell you the book and the author. This is my reflections. My reflections. So this could be completely wrong, and you can challenge me on it, and I'll be happy to hear your challenges, and we can debate it. But I think hopefully none of you are probably disagreeing with the general sentiment that I'm getting at. What I'm about to share is an unverified story, but has come from a pretty reliable source to me, and has been spoken about amongst some friends, and it's generally been accepted. But I want to say that this is unverified. But let me share it with you, just so you can get a flavor of what I'm talking about. Hands up if you've heard of the book Mafatih al-Jinan. Yeah? One of our famous books, which is a compilation of supplications from the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Phenomenal book. Bonus points. Does anyone know who compiled it? Hand up. Say again? Not quite. That's Sahifa, Sajadiyah. Mafatih al-Jinan was compiled by Shaykh Abbas al-Qummi, if I understand correctly. Okay? So, he's one of our classical, legendary scholars back in the day. Really classical. The story is along the following concept, like I said, unverified, but relative confidence in it. That Shaykh Abbas was at home or wherever, and his parents came to see him. Note, his parents came to see him and alluded to the concept of saying, Abbas, have you heard about this book, Mafatih al-Jinan? It's incredible. I'll just let this sink in. Please pay attention. Shaykh Abbas al-Qummi, the compiler of Mafatih al-Jinan, one of the most famous Shia books that we have. His parents come to him saying, Abbas, have you come across this book before? What does that imply? That even his parents didn't know that he was behind this mastermind piece. When I go serve in the Hussainiyah, it'd be perfectly legitimate, you would say, that I tell my parents, yeah, I was at the Hussainiyah until 1 a.m. putting up the banners, making sure the mic system worked. Even if I was doing the toughest of jobs and the one that I never do, clean the toilets. It'd be perfectly legitimate to say to my parents, you know what, on Saturday night I stayed back and I cleaned the toilets. You're not committing a sin necessarily here, right? But imagine if you keep that secret so sincerely that not even your mother, not even your father is aware of it. The only one that is aware of it is the one that you want the likes from, who has unlimited likes and who is the only follower, wala'udhu billah, that you would want in your life. The only person that would be interested in your a'mal, I should say. And that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now if I were to be shown on Yawm al-Qiyamah, imagine, with some narrations or some teachers tell us that the day is known as Yawm al-Hisab. I think in Urdu you have Hisab, right? If you do Hisab with someone, what's the meaning of it? Calculation, balance, accounting, right? Hisab, Muhasibah, Yawm al-Hisab. The day where your records are put in front of you. An accountant will always say, my most boring job in life is to reconcile the accounts. They hate it. Because you've got to go line by line. Was it legit? Was it not? Was it legit? Was it not? We spent 7p. Did it actually come up as 7 or did it come up as 8? Oh, it came up as 8. Okay, now where did the 1p go? And then you spend hours looking and looking and looking. Okay? Imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Yawmul Hisab gives you your balance of deeds. All of your good ones we're just talking about. And you've now got to say which one was genuinely 100% only qurbatan ilallahi ta'ala. I would struggle to tick more than, even if I could tick one, I think I'd be surprised. Truly, a secret between me and Allah that no one knows. Nobody knows. But imagine if you keep that secret. Allah, this was exclusively for you. We have narrations that tell us that you should give charity with your right hand, such that your left doesn't even know about it. You see the concept. Instagram can be, Facebook can be, the news can be, the Quran can be phenomenal tools if used correctly. However, if Daesh can find a way to misuse the best miracle that the world has ever seen, or you could argue equal best miracle the world has ever seen, the Quran and the Holy Prophet, then surely a man-made thing like Instagram could really affect me if I don't realize it. And I may not realize it until a lot later in my life, where I'm unable to truly do something for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because I always want to tell my friends. And today, maybe it's me posting a picture of Karbala. Maybe in 10 years' time, it's me saying that I donated £1,000 to the Hussaini. Maybe in 20 years' time, it's me saying, I raised my son on the path of the Ahlul Bayt. Why do you need to tell everyone? That's between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we've got to account for it. We've got to account for it. And I'll say it a third time. We've got to account for it. Because if not, we can fall into the trap of doing it for the gram and not doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So clearly the conclusion is what? It's down to each of us. For each and everything that we do. We're putting haram to one side. We're focusing on the halal. We're not even focusing on halal. We're talking about mustahab. We're talking about some of the most recommended a'mal. Salat al-layl. Did you keep it between you and Allah? Or did you wake up the next morning just wanting to tell one person? Why are you so tired? Because I woke up for Salat al-Layl, it was so tiring. Why don't you just keep it between you and Allah? Just hold on to that tongue. Just restrain it. And imagine when Allah sees that servant striving, truly striving to just serve Allah and to get closer to Him, how much mercy He's going to give you. And maybe if we get addicted to Instagram without the right spiritual strength, it can get tough. And I'll end with this following point, inshallah. This whole concept of service, be it running the youth committee, be it giving a talk, be it reciting the nohas, be it the cooking the food or cleaning the toilets, whatever. We call it service, right? Service of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. There's a word that we usually say to people when it comes to service to make sure it's done correctly. Anyone know what word I'm alluding to? When you serve, make sure you serve. Give me some words. Anyone? Anyone? If you're going to tell someone or tell yourself, make sure you serve in a certain way, what would that word be that describes that service? It's not going to be serve arrogantly, is it? It's not going to be serve with pride. It's going to be to serve respectfully. Okay, other words, we're on the right lines. Say again. Humbly, really on the right lines. Honestly. One that I would add, sincerely. If you're going to serve sincerely. Okay. And just to check, no one thinks I'm crazy by using that word sincerely. We all agree with the concept. Okay, I promise you this will be an interesting point and then I'll be quiet and then we can, chill out. So, sincerely. How many of us, anyone know the Arabic word for sincere or sincerity? No? Hazard a guess, anyone? The word is ikhlas. To have khulus in what you do. To serve sincerely, the word sincere is ikhlas. Now, if we could find somewhere where we can learn about ikhlas in our literature, then we know if I abide by this, then I can serve sincerely. Does anyone know anything in our literature that's known as ikhlas? Suratul Ikhlas. Okay, so the logic is what? If I want to serve sincerely, if I want to serve with khulus, I should go to our literature and find something that talks about ikhlas. And our younger brother here said, Suratul Ikhlas. Okay, let's look at Suratul Ikhlas. In order to figure out what Suratul Ikhlas tells us about, we could look at the words. But before that, I'm going to say, let's look at another name for Suratul Ikhlas. Because maybe if we understand the other name for it, it will give away everything about what sincerity truly means. What's another term? What's another name for Suratul Ikhlas? And don't say Surah Qul Huwallah, I'll die. Please. We like disrespect our surahs by this way, it really hurts me. What's another term, another name for Suratul Ikhlas? Say again? Tawheed. Let's go through that logic again. If I want to serve sincerely, which I think all of us do, and sincerely is translated to ikhlas or khulus. And if I want to learn about ikhlas or khulus and sincerity, then I should look at the chapter of ikhlas in the Quran. And the chapter of ikhlas, if I can understand what it talks about, then I can serve sincerely. And Surah Al-Ikhlas is also called Surah Al-Tawheed. So if I understand Surah Al-Tawheed, it means I can achieve sincerity. And what does Tawheed mean? I'll come to you guys in a second. We spoke about it many months ago now. It's this true understanding of the oneness, of the greatness, of the uniqueness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also our utter dependence unto Him. That nothing else in this life matters but our nearness to Him. So if I want to serve sincerely, perhaps we could say, why don't you serve in a tawheedi way? Now, someone who is truly tawheedi has no need for anything but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Quran says, أَنْتُمُ الْفُقَرَاءُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. We said this in Salah a few weeks ago, in the talks about Salah a couple of weeks ago. You are needy unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing else. Completely needy unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we used in our Tawheed or Adala sessions to recognize just how needy and dependent we are on Allah, that if you have the electric train going through the tunnel, it will have the overhead wire that it's connected to. Do you remember we spoke about this? And that train is so free. It's living life. It's doing its best thing. It can go 50 miles per hour, zero, open the doors wherever it wants. But the moment that that train disconnects from that overhead line, it's over. We're much the same. Allah gives us this space and says, look, go. I've given you a framework. Stay on the rails. If you come off the rails, you'll kill people. But the moment you disconnect from that electronic line, and you don't decide that, I decide that to some degree, because obviously you can do certain things to stop that. But the moment you disconnect, you're gone. That's how dependent you are on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we go and serve, let's try and do it with ikhlas. And the more that we want to do it with ikhlas, the more we want to do it just for Allah. But at the moment when I say just do it for Allah, it may not mean much. Why? Because maybe I don't have a good understanding of Tawheed. And the more that I recognize and understand Tawheed, and I realize just how dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala I am, likes, followers, all I care about is His nearness. The more I understand Tawheed, the more sincerely I can serve. The more sincerely I serve, the more I understand Allah. The more I understand Allah, the more sincerely I serve. And it's this perfect cycle that keeps on going. That are two wings. If you want to become a muwahid, if you want to be like Amir al-Mu'min, who we call Mawla al-Muwahideen, the master, the teacher, the guide for all of those who are muwahids, all of those who are tawheedi individuals, You need to serve sincerely. But to serve sincerely, you need to understand Tawheed. And once you understand Tawheed, you'll serve more sincerely. The more you serve sincerely, the more you understand Tawheed, so on and so on and so on. So I conclude with this. Do I think you should delete your Instagram profile suddenly? No, I don't. Do I think Instagram can maybe force us to focus on the followers and the likes rather than the creator and his obedience? Potentially. And I think it's incredibly difficult, especially when you're posting really godly things. And that is a battle that only you can decide, have I done my best on it or not? And like I said, the battleground isn't just necessarily Instagram. It can be when you come and give a lecture like this, and I wait to hear the feedback from everyone. It can be when you're asked to recite. It can be when you go and bury your own parents. Did I do it because they were watching me? Or did I do it for my mother's satisfaction? Or even greater than that, I did it to get closer to Allah. I did it qurbatan ilallah. Qurba, nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the conclusion, be careful. It has an amazing function, but just like the Quran can be misused and take us the wrong way, a man-made thing like Instagram can also take us the wrong way. Does anyone have any questions? Anyone think I've gone crazy? Anything they want to bring up or discuss? Yes?
One of the most common things when sharing on Instagram is, end of the day, everything boils down to the as you said. If your niyat is getting likes, shares, but if your niyat is to encourage others to do the same as well, to motivate others, is that still at that is, you still have to post it in order to motivate?
This is the phenomenal thing about this journey. And my goal of today's session is just to make you aware of the journey that you can now choose to go on or not go on. And it will be a journey that until your last breath, you'll go on. It doesn't stop, right? I can enter today into this room and I can have the most sincere of sincere intentions. It's hot, I'm flustered, do I really want to come and spend my Friday evening? Let's say I battle it. I come here and I enter and I'm like, you know what? Sincerity, I'm there. During the course of this very talk, I can be battling with that intention. Am I actually getting closer to Allah or am I going away? Am I doing it for the people? Am I doing it for Allah? Am I doing it for myself? Am I doing it because maybe my mum will find out that I'm doing it and that will make her happy? Even that sounds pretty legit. But in reality, I'm therefore doing it for her and not for the nearness to Allah. So you could have 1,000 posts on your Instagram and 999 of them could be right on the money. And you've always made sure it's qurbatan Allah. But that doesn't mean the next one is guaranteed to be. No way, no way, no way. Hence why, before we do many things, we're told to say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. That in anything I do, I begin in the name of Allah. And even prior to that, we clean ourselves. A'udhu billah. I seek refuge in Allah. Min ash-shaytan al-la'in al-rajim. From all of that pride, from all of that attention, from all of that, oh my God, you're so cool, look what you did, that's the shaitani side. A'udhu billah min ash-shaytan al-la'in al-rajim, Bismillahir Rahman. And I'm focused on my target, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even if you're doing it for the most noble of reasons, it can still go the wrong way. And in fact, the equivalent of like a Nadim Sarwar in like the Iranian world, Haj Mahmoud Karimi, some of you may know him. Phenomenal. One of my friends, Iranian chap, he was in one of his majalis and the guy's reciting, I don't know if you've seen like these clips in Iran, similar to like when you go to Pakistan, like thousands in the audience, right? Now you can imagine how tough it must be for that reciter when they've got thousands of people in front of them. Especially in the Pakistani community where wah everywhere, right? How many of those people are struggling to keep that intention pure? And no doubt some succeed, and no doubt some don't succeed. Haj Mahmoud Karimi has this huge audience in front of him. If I'm not mistaken, it was on Abu Fadl's night, but I could be wrong. Or he was reciting about Abu Fadl, Al-Abbas alayhi salam. And my friend said that in the middle of the majlis, he stopped. Everyone's obviously facing him. And he said, turn around. This is for Abu Fadl, not for me. Imagine, you've got a khatib in Karachi with thousands watching, and he feels something maybe taking over his intention. He's like, you know what? I'm stopping. Or turn your backs on me and I'll finish the lecture like this. Or I'll finish my recitation just like this. Even though he's doing the dhikr of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, even if he's talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, maybe he feels that his intention is now going towards getting their attention for his fame instead of qurbatan ilallah. And in that moment, the best thing you can do, Allahu Akbar. You leave that all away and you make sure you don't compromise your journey to Allah. It's a lifelong journey. A lifelong journey. And maybe you don't even realize that the one thing that you did that was completely for Allah, maybe you don't even remember it. Maybe. Because maybe you only remember the things that were acknowledged by others, not by your Creator. Scary, scary thought. So yeah, it's tough. And we'll all face it. Any more for any more? Or has the heat sent everyone to sleep? I think so, inshallah. وآخر الدعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليك يا حجة الله في أرضه السلام عليك يا عين الله في خلقه السلام عليك يا نور الله الذي يهتدي به المهتدون ويفرج به عن المؤمنين السلام عليك يا أيها المهذب الخائف السلام عليك أيها الولي الناصح السلام عليك يا سفينة النجاة السلام عليك يا عين حياة السلام عليك صلى الله عليه وعلى آل بيتك الطيبين الطاهرين السلام عليك عجل الله لك ما وعدك من نصر وظهور الأمر السلام عليك يا مولاي أنا مولاك عرف بأولئك وأخراك أتقرب إلى الله تعالى بك وبآل بيتك وأنتظر ظهورك وظهور الحق على يديك وأسأل الله أن يصلي على محمد وآل محمد وأن يجعلني من منتظرين لك والتابعين والناصرين لك على أعدائك ومستشهدين بين يديك في جملة أوليائك يا مولاي يا صاحب الزمان صلوات الله عليك وعلى آل بيتك هذا يوم الجمعة وهو يومك المتوقع فيه ظهورك والفرج فيه للمؤمنين على يديك وقتل الكافرين بسيفك وأنا يا مولاي فيه ضيفك وجارك وأنت يا مولاي كريما من أولاد الكرام ومأمور بالضيافة والآخرة فأعضفني وأجرني صلوات الله عليك وعلى أهل بيتك الطاهرين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا اللهم صل على محمد. Imam has said they're not to read any added parts of any dua.
Assalamu alaikum everybody. Thank you very much for attending today's session, especially thank you to Brother Sadiq, obviously always giving us great sessions every Friday. Inshallah, I'd love to see you all again next week. This is the best turnout we've had since we've restarted after Ramadan, so you can help us by sharing our post. We'll send the poster out at least the day before every week, so if you can just share that with your contacts, anyone who would be of benefit to these sessions, it really help us, and you can help contribute by contributing towards the Tabarruk, or we have our donation machines here, so if you're feeling generous, please do approach one of us and it will really help us out funding these sessions in the future. But thank you very much for attending, and inshallah see you all again next week. Thank you. Salawat.